All right, so we'll start with, what does it mean to just play in front of your family? Obviously, a sentimental bond you have with them to be there.
Yeah, it's great. They were in the game in Seattle, the other night. So, I always like when they're in the building, and, it's good to be back home.
What does it mean to play just the first time in Western Canada for you? I'm sure it brings back all sorts of memories, no matter where you are.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Growing up in Langley, I got some good memories from the Canucks and, going to their games. So, there's going to be lots of people in the building tonight for me. So, I'm excited for it.
Todd was saying that you provide so much energy and that kind of that fighter mentality. Where does that stem from, just in terms of your upbringing? Where does that come from?
Yeah, it's just being competitive growing up, I think. I feel like I like to play with a lot of fire and lots of energy, and I think that's just kind of how I was raised.
When you have your mom specifically in the building, we've highlighted kind of your relationship with her. How much more does it mean to kind of have her eyes on you as you're kind of making this journey through it? You're first in the Senate.
Yeah, it's very special. I wouldn't be here without, both my parents and, my mom specifically. I love having her, in the building, and, I'm excited to play in front of her.
Todd, a couple games now, even dating back to Boston, that there's teams been kind of back against the wall with deficits and then responded. What have you seen in sort of the resilience in the last couple of games that they've answered the bell?
Well, the good thing is we're never really out of it. We have enough offense most nights that somebody can get out there and find a way to put one in the net and keep us close. The game in Seattle the other day, I thought in the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the second, the 2-on-1 made a huge difference to settle us down a little bit, and we played a real good period in the third. But each game has its own events, and we've talked about resiliency. We're never going to be perfect. But if it's not real good, can we find ways to play our B game for a little while until we find legs, hands, connectivity, whatever you might want to call it. And over the last few games, we've been able to do that.
Patrick Kane over a week ago was kind of having some struggles to get in the net, and then it feels like kind of floodgates have opened. Have you noticed a difference in his game, seeing just one go in now that it's getting close to these milestones?
No, I remember you guys were all asking me if I was going to help him score, and I didn't, obviously. He found his way to the net, and that's just the way it happens. Like, we can, even the best of them go in spells where you think it's just automatically going to go in. Hockey's a hard game. There's so many factors that come into play, and the last guy we were worried about was whether Patrick Kane would ever score a goal again.
You guys are about to kick off the Western Canada stretch of this road trip. What have you learned to appreciate about playing in these buildings over the years?
Well, I've been lucky enough to be part of the Western Conference and the Pacific Division, particularly my whole career. So there's a lot of real good rivals out here. The buildings are each unique. The fan bases are, they're crazy. They're Canadian, and they really support their team strong. So it's a fun place to play. And then the other factor that sometimes gets talked about is the number of Canadians we have, or other teams have. When you come to Canada, you get to play in front of family or around family often, and it is a factor. I would never want to let my family members down, and maybe dig in a little bit more when you're tired or you're not feeling real good. So we invite all the parents out to these 3 games.
2 for 2 on the penalty kill against Seattle. Where have you seen some of the areas of growth from that unit as the season's progressed here?
Well, I thought we started the year real strong, and then we took a little bit of a dip, injury-wise, maybe even goaltending-wise in that situation. We seem to have got that back. Understanding our structure, our strike points, face-offs are such a huge factor on the penalty kill. Just to tire that first unit out by making them skate up and down the ice once or twice goes a long, long way. And when we're successful, we win those draws. When we're not, we start in our end, and the penalty killers get tired. So still work to do there.
Is it Gibson in net tonight?
Yeah.
As you mentioned, first NHL game out west for Emmitt Finnie tonight. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about what you've seen from him this year and the role that he's played on that first line?
This is an easy one to talk about. He's a wonderful young man. Like, he's got a demeanor to him that gives off energy. Everybody gets energized when Emmitt's around him. He's very coachable. He's a fighter. He's had to scrap his way up from basically every league, from what I understand, and he's worked his way into our lineup now, and never once have we contemplated, does he need a rest? Should he come out? Should he watch a game? Which you often do with young players. But the pace of play, his confidence with the puck makes a big difference to our team.
Thanks, Todd.